All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to IGTV. We're here once again with Anthony Hackett from Aimetis Corporation, and this is all about video analytics. So let's listen to Anthony and what he provides to us this week. Go ahead, Ant.
Thanks, Joe. So the past couple of weeks, we've been sort of diving in rather heavy to analytics, and being that it's holiday week here, next week is New Year's. But I thought what we do is just a very light show where we run through some of the traditional analytics, if you will, and maybe comparatively show you some non-traditional applications for these analytics. Or maybe just speak about the analytic in general and where, when, and how to use that type of analytic. The first one that comes to mind is PTZ auto tracking. Have you heard of this, Joe?
No, give that one to me again, Anthony.
So it's an algorithm that's developed to take command and control of a PTZ camera and automatically track and follow a person or a vehicle.
Oh no, that I think when you first said it, I thought you was saying something else, but I think I have heard of that once before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very, very common algorithm. Unfortunately, a lot of people have, the idea that this would work in a mall or a crowd. The reality is that type of algorithm is really designed for a non-busy environment. So when would you best use it? It's best used in areas where people or vehicles shouldn't be, because what that does is it gives you a complete heads-up alert where a blank monitor can all of a sudden go live with video and track and follow a vehicle or a person. Um, the algorithm actually is dependent on the speed of the camera, and believe it or not, there are some great IP access. All their PTZ cameras will work well with that, but actually, there's a lot of older analog PTZ cameras that were built with a dynamic speed function. And that's not something that you find in a lot of PTZ cameras.
Wow.
And what that means is that we can dynamically, or the algorithm can take control of that camera and have very smooth flow. We've got examples on our website of a Corvette that takes off from 0 to 60, and it follows the vehicle as fast as it takes off. Very similarly with people too. Maybe they don't walk in a straight line, but are weaving through something, and we're able to track and follow that person using a very old analog camera.
So Anthony, are you for some reason the airport popped right into my head. Don't ask me why. But during off hours, if you had a camera that was surveilling a hangar, runway area, not in a lot of use, and again, I put in quotations off hours.
Yep.
Would that be the ideal application?
Totally ideal. I would say the secondary application would be is that one of your sensors, a motion sensor, goes off. This would be a way to move the PTZ to that location automatically, and then enable the algorithm to turn itself on and track and follow whatever is there.
Yeah. Okay. Then thank you for explaining the application. Yeah, that makes sense. That way you're not wasting unnecessary storage, having that camera being put to use for absolutely no reason at all, other than occupying dead space.
Yeah, we have some partners that will track ships at a large distance, 11 miles out in the water. We could do it at night, just based on the heat signature, track and follow the heat signature. So there's a lot of different applications for the PTZ auto control. Even in industry, we've got people that track and follow product as it comes off of a conveyor. Sounds kind of silly, but
No, not at all. You've opened me up widely to this, so I do understand how there could be a number of different applications. Let me ask you this, because we got into this entire discussion based upon Times Square and the bombing and all of that, right? Okay. So how would this come into use in a busy environment?
You don't use it in a busy environment. And the idea is that if you've got eyes on an intersection, there's going to be way too much traffic. And then what the thing is that you would open up to more risk, because what if it starts tracking a person or a vehicle that's not of your interest?
All right,
Right?
so
I just
so
lost it.
in a crowd control situation, then what kind of video analytics would come into play like that? Let's say, you're outside of the United States Armed Forces recruitment area. There
Mhm.
could be several thousand people coming by there at any particular point in the day. It's it's in an area, Anthony. It's called the crossroads of the world,
Yep.
where Broadway and Seventh Avenue come together at right about 42nd Street. How would you use video analytics to help protect that area?
I've been there many times. I've stood around and thought pretty hard about what we could be doing here. Um, I think one of the biggest things is just you don't necessarily have to create rules. Just by letting algorithms in the background run, you're able to tag the people, the vehicles that are coming by, and use that data to understand where normal traffic moves, whether it be people or humans. What are the busiest times of the day? And that's a tough question for that area, believe it or not. It's busy from 6 a.m. till midnight or later. And that type of information, though, can be spit out through the system and help law enforcement better staff for busier periods, maybe that they weren't aware of. It could also identify areas where nobody walks or nobody travels. And that's very interesting, because if I know of some certain pockets, and there definitely are pockets, areas, I could create rules that say, show me anyone that loiters in this space for a minute, 3 minutes. That would be new and unique, right, to that particular
Yeah, that
area.
kind of answers a question I was thinking of in my head. So I guess it's a matter of writing a rule. So if somebody enters, that 2 or 3 block area there, in front of the giant TV screen and all that, and they put a package on the ground, all right, and walk away from it, you could write a rule, all right, and create a rule to kind of look and define something like that. Might be hard, might be a difficult rule, but you could probably do that. So, objects placed in the ground and not picked up, that's something that you could probably create a rule for.
Oh,
You
you
might,
definitely could be doing it. We do it actually a couple blocks over, for another building.
oh, okay.
The thing that you have to keep in mind, is that you potentially can alarm on things like a McDonald's bag that's discarded, somebody's coffee cup. They're done drinking it, they missed the garbage. It happens, though. Um, Garbage that's going to be left on the street on certain days of the week, Tuesdays or Thursdays, whatever the case is.
Well,
That could
you know,
trigger it.
this reminds me of an article we read, technology in the news a couple of weeks ago, right? Where you had these guys over in the UK, monitoring every camera all over the place, and they've got this little control cell somewhere, right? And they're behind it. They're monitoring all of this stuff, right? And they're looking for the bombs. They're looking for something suspicious and all of that. And they're catching the people jaywalking. They're catching the people throwing garbage in the street. And now, of course, they've taken CCTV to the next level, and they've put in these giant loudspeakers out onto the street, and they're saying, "Hey, go pick that up." And
Right.
everybody's kind of
Right.
looking around and saying,
Right.
is this what was that TV program? You're on live TV or something like that. They thought it was some sort of a joke,
Right.
but actually it was, the Metropolitan Police Department behind the camera on the other side saying, "You just littered, go pick that up." So it could get kind of humorous in the city, and of course it brings in. I'm sure there'll be people who listen to this, the George Orwellian group as well. Oh, Big Brother's everywhere. My God, now I can't even drop my cigarette butt in the street without the cops hassling me.
That's my biggest pet peeve, actually, is cigarette butts on the ground. But what's neat is as a culture, we the people define and make things happen here. I would love to see the reaction of New Yorkers being yelled at through a loudspeaker to pick something up.
Oh yeah, I mean
Have a little bit different of a response than most London goers, I think.
it could get a little weird there, very very quick. I could see them throwing
you talked about the discarded packaging, and that's actually something that we do quite well with in retail. We find that people that are going to rip off spider wrap, or they're going to take something out of a package, take the product with them to another part of the store that's not that very busy, so that they have a little bit of time. And in some cases, we can kind of build it as a mousetrap to, to guide them, if you will. It sounds kind of funny, but actually show them where that spot is. There's some tricks and techniques that you can do to do that. And then we have an alarm that will pick up the discarded package, and by the time that person gets from the farthest corner of that store where he thought he was safe, he's going to walk into the arms of a loss prevention professional and be asked about the product in his jacket or hands or bag.
In the technology field, we call that a honeypot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well,
speaking of honeypots, another thing is if you think about people counting, right? The traditional people counter, most people would think that would be synonymous with retail. We see law enforcement actually using it, whether it be campus housing or public housing, to identify the potential drug spots by taking a whole row of houses or public dwelling units and counting the number of people in and out of each day. The numbers that are highest, the ones that exceed 100, aren't mom and dad dropping kids off.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, and law enforcement is allowed to do. Excuse me, Anthony. I'm going through a cold here.
No worries.
Tough day. They're allowed to, as long as they have a pattern established, like with car stops and things like that. If they can go to court later on and say, hey, look, we stopped every third car, that's our pattern. Every third car, no matter what, we're stopping it. So now if they can go to court and they can say, well, we're in a public housing development area, all right, we've been monitoring the area for a week, all right, and we noticed an abnormality, all right, that all of a sudden, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 150, all right, and because of that, that's why we went in there and we deployed a different tactic. All right, so I get your point there right away. It makes a lot of sense. We're up hard on the clock here. I just wanted to say that the Aimetis Corporation will be with us not next week, but the following week, giving us a monthly update. We do welcome Anthony back once each month, and we're doing that with Access Communications as well. So you are welcome back, and I didn't want our viewers to think anything untoward happened. Nothing happened. All right, it's just we're going to move on to the next topic, and and see if we can build out maybe a little information on the NVRs and DVRs out there, and that's where we intend to go to fully cover the CCTV discussion. All right, which Aimetis is a critical part of that. All right, so I first wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas,
Yes,
a happy and healthy New Year to you, your family, and certainly your professional colleagues over at Aimetis. Thank you very much, and we appreciate it, Anthony.
Thanks, Joe.
Have a great week.
Take care.
Right, bye now. All right, so that was a good conversation with Anthony.